Hello everybody, Redneck Cobb Piper here, Randy Edwards. This video is going to be, we've been talking about Bigfoot. I put a couple of videos on there about this tree that was pushed over or something. But what I want to do is kind of explain, nobody's heard my story or anything on why I Bigfoot hunt. And the reason I say hunt is because I'm not a researcher. I'm not an investigator. I don't know nothing about either one of the two. I do know how to hunt. I've hunted all my life. Been in the woods all my life. But there's been some things that has happened in my past and some experiences that I have that now, looking back on it, I contribute to possibly this animal. And I'm going to tell you why I started, and how I got into it, and then where I'm at today. Me and my wife, we were coming from University of Arkansas in Monticello, Arkansas, and we had been there to watch our oldest son play in the band. We watched halftime. We talked to him a little bit into the third quarter, and then we got in the car and left, which was be about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we were headed home, and between Warren, Arkansas and El Dorado, Arkansas, I come around a curve, and I'm going 55, I'm going the speed limit. I slow down because I see something running down the shoulder of the road that's on the same side as we are. We're in a 2008, 2009 Dodge Charger, and this is about the same year, 2008, 2009, when this happened. As I pull up closer to it, I slowed down even more because I didn't want it to run out across the road from in front of me and hit the car and run into it. So it had a weird gait. I don't know what it was. Can't explain what it was. The back end was lower. It had it didn't have long hair. It had more like a Doberman Pinscher light, short hair, short fur. And it was gray, didn't have no spots, but it looked like a hyena. It had a tail. It wasn't a bushy tail like a wolf or a fox or anything like that. It had a longer neck, big square head, longer snout. Well, we're in the car, so after I got home, I measured about how high that would be, me sitting in the car. And that's about 3.5 to 4 foot tall. Well, this thing on the shoulder, when I pulled beside, or I was going slow beside it, it was looking at us eye to eye level, because it turned its head and looked at us. I went on up a little ways and pulled off on the shoulder, and I said, man, I'm going to take a picture of this. Well, my wife said, oh, no, you're not. You get out there and get yourself ate. I said, well, ain't nobody going to believe what we saw. And so I look in the rear view mirror with the brake lights on, and it's gone. So we get on back on the road, and we're headed out, and not even 4 city blocks, we see about 3 or 4 dogs with their ears pinned back, and they're hauling, buddy. They're out of there, getting away from there. So that's really what got me into searching and stuff on the internet, kind of what they call armchair research. I searched and I looked and I listened to podcasts and I listened to all this other stuff. I went to these different conferences and listening to all that. And what really got me more into watching Bigfoot and talking Bigfoot stuff is that some of these podcasts explained or said something about experiences of smelling something. And the smell that they described is something that happened to me when I was a senior in high school, hunting behind the house. And after football practice, I'd go out and I'd go hunting, for about an hour. You had about an hour and a half, when I got home. So I went out to the woods, and I'm in a pin oak flat, briars all around it. And I get in there and I sit down for about 5-10 minutes, let everything calm down. Next thing I hear, coming from the south from a power line, 15 or 20 deer run right through the middle of that daggum pin oak flat. I couldn't explain it. I don't know what it was, what spooked them or whatever, but they come through there, 90 to nothing, headed to the lake, which is north of me. And I smelt that smell. I smelt something after they ran through, and I couldn't explain it. So what I did is I just kind of marked it off as the deer smelling, because they probably stunk and stuff as they were running through the woods. Because there was, like I said, 15 or 20 of them flying. So I get up because that screwed my squirrel hunting up. So I go back home. Didn't think nothing of it, and over the years, still didn't think of nothing of it. And see, I'm from Texarkana and Queen City, so we've heard about the legend of Boggy Creek. We've watched it all. We've done all that, and none of that stuff, didn't nothing. 2 and 2 didn't equal 3, and all that stuff, or equal 4. Queen City. But anyway. I started listening to all this. I go to the symposiums and the conferences and meet people that are experiencing this stuff and that are out there exploring and looking for it and camping and stuff. My next encounter, other than that, being in and around some of the community, is that it was out close to Smith Park. Everybody knows where Smith Park is in Fouke, off of 237. This is a place called Drew Palmer Road. I go back in there in a big cul-de-sac. I went in, me and my grandsons went in there and sat around and waited till the rest of the group probably woke up, because we were down there early. We had just ate at 237 Grocery breakfast. Came down there, and I'd finished drinking my coffee. Had the windows down, just listening. And I figured that the group had went out late last night, so that night before. So I was going to wait on them to get up. So we sit there for about 45 minutes to an hour. Crank up the truck. I'm headed out. And they were putting new culverts in across the road, so you had to slow down over every culvert. So the last culvert, before we get to 237, I slowed down. And I'm looking with my arm out and looking out the windows, for deer, squirrel, or any kind of animals, that would be moving. And as I look back on the road to go over this culvert, I glance back to the left into the woods, and something hits the ground. And how I describe it is, it looked like Cousin It on the Addams Family. It was short. It wasn't very. What I seen wasn't tall, but it was going to the ground. I don't know how tall it was, but it had wavy hair, not straight hair like Cousin It. It was red, like an Irish setter red, a real dark auburn red, bright, but the sunshine on it, well, you could see it. When it hit the ground, I didn't see a face. It was probably just the head, neck, and shoulders of it. But when it hit the ground, I stopped, and I accidentally put it all the way up into park, and I had to come back down into reverse to back up. And when I got to the trees, it was already to the ground, and we sit there for about 5 minutes, me listening for noises or anything like that. I don't know what I saw. It was no bear. We don't have bear around here. It was no dog. It was no wolf. I don't know what it was. It didn't move. Nothing else moved. Didn't make no sound. Those two things right there, just those two things, not counting this wild looking dog thing that I seen, makes me a believer that there's something out in those woods, in all the woods. Makes me want to go hunt this thing, not to kill it, but to make me a believer. There's believers out there in this community that I've talked to and stuff that have actually seen the real thing. And these people aren't lying. I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I don't think these people are lying. Well, that's what gets me motivated. That's what gets me out into the woods. And those 2 videos that I did before this one, when things like that happen, and things like that I see and notice that you just can't explain away, and I definitely try to explain everything away before I even turn this video on, or even take pictures of it. So I'm probably the biggest skeptic out there, but like I said, I do believe it. But this is the deal. I know that something can be out there because there's not hundreds of thousands and possibly millions of people every one of them are lying about what they've seen or experienced. You might have a bunch of them out there that does that, but then you got, even if you got 10 of them out there that is exactly what they saw and what they know, then there's something there. And I'm going to try to find it just for my satisfaction and for me to believe that they're there. I know, not for me to know. I believe they're there. I need to know it. And I'm going to find out. So be part of this. Be part of this adventure. Be part of this experience. Because like I said, I'm not just going to put any crap out here on YouTube. So we're still going to be cob piping. We're still going to be hunting some Bigfoot. We're still going to be doing other things, camping and all. I'll put some camping stuff out here. Might do some squirrel hunting and squirrel cooking. We'll have some of that on here. We're going to have a little bit of everything for the outdoorsmen and stuff. So just be prepared. And I will be on a podcast or a radio show or whatever you want to call it. I've never would do this, but the guy who got me to do it bribed me with a big Bowie knife. I love big knives. So I'm going to do some getting back into the sling bow making. I make the Magnum sling bows, so he's taught me into really showing him how to build some of them and do the techniques that I do, and I'll probably get back into building some sling bows, so you'll see some more of that stuff, and maybe some bow fishing if I can get my shoulder, to feeling better and stuff, to be able to get out and shoot again. But other than that, subscribe to the channel, like what we do, like this video, and hit that notification bell and stuff, and keep up with us, and join us. Have a good day.